right, everybody. Here we are. W.A.S.P. K.F.D, which stands for okay. We'll come back around to that in a moment. All right. So, funny story. Drew just happened to be around listening when I threw this in to listen to it for the first time. And he laughed his ass off because all he could hear me do is yell across my house, "What the did they do to the drums?" Before we go any further on this, I need to show you video footage from what I consider one of the lowest parts of my life. This video footage has got to be, at this point, 10 years or so old. I'd have to double check for sure. Not that concerned. Well, actually, hold on. I can check for sure. Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Properties, come on. Oh yeah, 10 years old. Okay, so this video footage you're about to see, I wasn't originally recorded in February of 2016, but it was originally edited and created in 2016. I think this was actually video footage from January of 2016. So at this point, 10 and a half years old. Watch this video footage and it'll explain half my complaints about this album.
And what you're currently hearing is me on the electric drums, horsing around to record background tracks for the video you can watch of one of the saddest days of my life as a drummer. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks to a lovely notice I got from my rental office. After 6 years, that's not really much of a surprise, but I lost my ability to play the acoustic drums in my house. So now I have to play this electric drum stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's no choice until I can personally move into a location I can soundproof. But like I said, it's 6 years, man. Took a while. My neighbors, though, fuck them.
Hey, we're back. All right, so you got to see my monster drum set. I don't know how much of the video footage I played of the monster drum set before I switched over to the electric drum set. That's with my band, The Howling Odyssey. At the end of the video, there'll be a link that'll actually take you over to The Howling Odyssey. You can go check out those video clips in their full entirety as they're posted there. Let's get into the album itself. So the album opens up with the title track, Kill, Fuck, Die. This is actually a pretty good album opener. Right away, it sets you up for exactly what this album is. I mentioned in my review for Crimson Idol that Crimson Idol really felt like it was The Wall plus Alice Cooper's theatrical stage show mixed together, trying to outdo both of them. This one, to me, based on the time period, and this works, this one really has a vibe of Blackie Lawless discovered Typo Negative and Marilyn Manson and decided to let that inspire this album, at least sound-wise, Manson, lyric-wise, Typo Negative. Drew was telling me this is a double divorce album. Both Blackie and the guitarist, whose name is not here in front of me at the moment, were both going through divorces at the time. What is that? Chris Holmes. The two of them were going through divorces at the time, so this album was just a whole lot of angry, and you can hear it's a whole lot of angry. It reminds me in a lot of ways of Antichrist Superstar, but I actually enjoy this more than Antichrist Superstar, and there's a lot of ways where it reminds me of Typo Negative, and I love me some Typo Negative. Going into the next few songs, Take the Addiction, My Tortured Eyes, and Kill Ahead, those, they just kind of flow through the album really quick, and it doesn't matter if I'm sitting right next to my stereo listening to them, if I'm doing work around the house, whatever, they just kind of, you go through them, they're done. Then you hit Kill Your Pretty Face, which catches my attention to a degree. That one gets a little bit interesting, which runs into Fetus directly, and because of the way they flow, you don't really notice as it goes from the one into the other. But the whole way around enjoyable. And then you get to Little Death. At Little Death, the album really picks back up for me again. Like Kill Your Pretty Face was enjoyable. Fetus, like I said, you don't even really notice it. It just kind of feels like it's more kind of going on. Little Death just got this great singable chorus to it and just really, really fun song to it. There is definitely some of the stuff I hear in this album before I go any further, because Little Death I think was one of the songs. I hear also Nine Inch Nails inspiration in there. When it comes to Nine Inch Nails, I hear more musical inspiration than even the sound or whatever, the industrial. It's there's a couple songs on here where I've spent a little time kind of trying to figure out exactly which songs they borrowed from. And I think it's Little Death where I was noticing it was either Kill Your Pretty Face or Little Death. I can't remember which one it was. I was noticing a little bit of, I want to say Head Like a Hole, except for more like the pre-chorus of Head Like a Hole. You know, no, you can't take it. No, you can't take it. No, you can't take it away from me. No, you can't. Head like a hole. You know, that part, that's kind of what it really got into and reminded me. I believe it was on Little Death. Maybe it was on You. Could have even been on You. It might have been You, actually, which is the next song. After Little Death, you go into You, and I really enjoyed You. I thought it was a good tune. Wicked Love, not bad. It's kind of wedged in between You and The Horror, which finishes off the album. And The Horror, totally borrowing Alice Cooper's Hey Little Flies at the beginning of the song. They changed the drums up a little bit and the guitar just a micro tad, but I could easily get on the drums and start playing the proper drum parts of Hey Little Flies on this in the beginning. It eventually moves away from that and gets into its own song and whatnot, but there was definitely an inspiration there. Musically. And I thought The Horror was a good song to close out the album. A little long, but a good song to close out the album. The whole way around, honestly, Drew was hell-bent that I was going to hate this album because of the drums. And yeah, the drums really suck. Okay, so yeah, now that we've covered all that at the beginning and I didn't touch on it too much afterwards, I understand the pain of electric drums, and I'm very anti-electric drums. Drew, on the other hand, has always been pro-electric drums, and even using... I used to have a big Casio keyboard. It was actually my sister's. And you could actually replicate a half-decent electric drum kit out of it. Especially considering the keyboard was from like 95, 97, something like that. I think I even still own the keyboard to this day. And I keep it around just in case I ever want to do that horrible electric drum sound that's on, even though I own electric drums now. Drew actually wrote a really good song, and it would have been probably before this album, but definitely would have seemed like it was inspired by this album, called I Don't Give a Fuck. It was one of my favorite songs, actually, that Drew wrote. And there's a lot of the drum sound on here that was on there. And keep in mind, I am now comparing this drum sound to a Casio keyboard from the 90s, okay? I hate electric drums so much. I hate them so much. The only reason I own a pair of electric drums is just because of my neighbors in the house I used to live in. I lived in a townhouse, and they were very kind to me for years before they finally started launching complaints. So I had to go to the electric drum set. If it were not for the electric drums, if this album... Okay, this album has to have electric drums on it because the overall sound. Its overall sound is an industrial album. So if they had the W.A.S.P drum sound on here from the early to mid 80s, that beautiful, thick, rich, billowing drum sound that I just freaking salivate over, it would have sounded wrong on this album. All right, so let's be very clear about that. But this had the drum sound from Crimson Idol on it, which still had that big billowing, but it was a little more compressed sounding, a little more like in the industrial zone. I think that would have sounded better than what they actually did on here. Outside of that, like, I know I downplayed a lot of the songs, like Take the Addiction, My Tortured Eyes, Kill Ahead, and Wicked Love. Really kind of downplaying those songs on here because they are, to me, just album cuts. And, you know, but they're not bad album cuts. Like, they're decent album cuts. When the album's playing, you know, very enjoyable, very, you know, fun and whatnot. It's just not necessarily songs I'd go out of my way to listen to. But I would definitely put Kill, Fuck, Die, Little Death, and You onto a mixtape. Or into a mix. You know, if I was putting together a mixtape and I wanted really aggressive kind of stuff for the gym or something, like this is a really good gym album, man. You want to get aggressive when you're working out at the gym? Ooh, this one would work really, really well. I think I'm going to leave that one there. Let me know what you guys think down below. I'm not a fan of this packaging. I was never a fan of the mix of the plastic with the cardboard. I always thought that was kind of silly. And I don't understand this. I mean, I don't want to crease any more than it already is, right? So I'm not going to, but I think that's silly too. Anyways, comments down below. Let me know what you think. On your way down there, if you could hit the like button, subscribe button, bell for notifications, I'd really appreciate that. There's a couple links worth checking out. With those links, I am going to be putting up a full video soon of the backyard conversion. Once I finish processing it all and scoring it and whatnot, I'm going to put that up. It's going to be a mega high speed, so, you know, it'll be really fun to watch. Let me know what you think down below, folks. Anyways, peace, love, take care.